Look at the Mona Lisa for a bit. It's a pretty good painting, right? But what if centuries after its production, someone improved that work of art, say by making it bigger or a 3D version? This new version gets a lot of attention, to the point where more people are paying to see that version of the Mona Lisa than the one in the Louvre. It gets so much attention that the ghost of Leonardo da Vinci gets mad, and then the artist who modified the masterpiece sells it, only to realize their mistake after the fact. Speaking of Italian works of art, something similar happened with Richard Rawlings and Ferrari. Sound unbelievable? You ain't seen nothing yet. Welcome back to TUNANOCRUST, and strap in, we're in for a wild ride.
I don't have $300,000 to stick in that thing.
You can't stop now.
I don't want to stop. I just don't know if I have the ability to keep going.
We've already done a few videos on Rawlings, so some videos will appear above if you need a refresher on Uncle Richard. But just so we're all on the same page for this one, Richard Rawlings is a gearhead who hosted the Discovery Channel show Fast and Loud, which first aired in 2012. He's known for making cars look amazing and for having a very good eye. If we took a drink every time Rawlings turned a junk car into a work of art, we'd be out pretty quickly. Please don't try this at home. Fast and Loud ended in 2020 and has no chance of returning. Rawlings has made it clear that he is not coming back to television, except maybe as a cameo.
I don't need all that.
Some of the monkeys even did their own shows, but let's move on to the garage itself. Gas Monkey Garage Rawlings shop is equally famous. That's where Rawlings did all of his hot rod modifications for the show. It's more than a setting, it's a garage in Texas that you can visit. Most of the cars on Fast and Loud found new homes afterward, whether they were jobs for a client or put up for auction. And even though Rawlings was the star, all of the monkeys got some screen time. At one point, Gas Monkey was also a restaurant chain, but that folded. You can still follow the garage on its YouTube channel. And even though Rawlings said he won't be doing any more TV shows,
So I signed off on all media. So up to this point,
he still posts regularly on social media such as YouTube and Instagram. Rawlings makes a ton of cool builds, so why did this one car become such a big deal? Before we get into the specific F40, the Ferrari F40 is almost the Mona Lisa of cars. It is known as a supercar, capable of going over 200 miles per hour. The Ferrari F40 was already a legend among gearheads. The Ferrari F40's price was around $400,000 when it first came out in 1987. The price included a trip to Italy so owners could see and drive the car before shipping it back home. Today, you might pay $1 to $2 million for a vintage F40 in good condition. Talk about appreciation. So what about this F40? First, this F40 was a slightly later 1991 model, still quite a find. What made it go from that $400,000 starting price to $765,000? There's a lot of colorful history behind that price tag, so let's dive in. But first, if you haven't yet smashed the subscribe button, do so you don't miss our new videos coming out soon. Rawlings came into the F40 after it was all but totaled. The original owner did not want to ship it back to Italy for repairs and sent it to Gas Monkey instead.
I'll commit to 400 grand. You know, that's a big risk.
Done.
Outstanding. We'll take
We got a
it.
deal, gentlemen.
Deal. Thanks. son.
I feel like I'm going to puke. Golly.
The chassis and front end of the car were both damaged in the accident. Even so, it cost Rawlings around $400,000, almost exactly what someone would have paid for a brand new car plus the trip to Italy to drive it. It's worth noting too that Ferrari dealers are not known for being nice. Before you say something about all car dealers, consider one of the reasons the original owner did not send it back to Italy. It would have taken 3 years to repair. And we don't know if this was the owner's only vehicle, but 3 years is a long time to go without a vehicle. If nothing else, there would be a huge space where the Ferrari once was during that time. This is where my F40 would be if it wasn't being repaired in Italy. Ferrari also wanted to destroy the car instead of repairing it after seeing the damage. But after looking into it, it's a little clearer why the owner wanted to either have the car repaired or sell it. The car only had 6,000 miles on it. Many of us would probably do the same. And like many dealers, Ferrari wants owners to do things their way.
Hey, make sure you're careful with that, man. We don't want to mess it up, okay? Don't scratch it.
Yeah.
More car dealers than ever want you to get your vehicle repaired at their dealership and nowhere else. Taking your car to an independent repair shop may cost you your warranty. Read all the fine print. The right to repair has gotten more heated as cars get more data from their drivers. As cars get more advanced, expect to hear more stories like that of Rawlings and Ferrari. But the result of Gas Monkies' salvage rebuild was a straight upgrade to the Ferrari Rawlings had been given to work with. $295,000 later, the car was given a new lease on life. Ferrari was not happy that Gas Monkey was repairing one of their cars. Not only had the owner not played by their rules, but they had also sent it to an independent shop. The Italian company was so angry that it stopped shipping F40 parts to the United States entirely. That meant every part Rawlings used was effectively counterfeit. The F40 was also too expensive for Rawlings to make by himself. This did not stop him. He asked the people at HRE, a place that makes custom wheels, to create new ones for the Ferrari. He frequently asked investors and friends, including Dennis Collin, to back the project.
So how much do you pay for this pile?
$400,000.
Holy nacadocious.
That's a lot of money for a kit car.
Yeah, well, Dennis paid for the car. We got to fix it. We got to pay for all the parts, and then we're going to split the profit. But
in the meantime, the Gas Monkeys worked on the engine, transmission, and suspension in-house. Gas Monkey also gave the car a new coat of shiny black paint. Workers from other shops came in and out to help work on the Ferrari. Not only had the team, Gas Monkeys and friends, fixed the Ferrari in a timely fashion, but they had improved on what was already a cool car. Aesthetics aside, one of the most notable differences is that the Gas Monkey F40's engine was upgraded from 440 horsepower to 571 horsepower. Rawlings claimed to have built the fastest Ferrari. The modified F40 finally made its appearance in a two-parter on Fast and Loud in June 2013. But the story was not over yet. Rawlings auctioned the car in 2014 shortly after it appeared on Fast and Loud, and it has changed hands a lot. First, it was owned by baseball star Reggie Jackson thanks to that 2014 auction. Nothing too special here, just a sports star with a nice car. It sold for $742,500. That's not as much as a mint-condition F40, but still impressive for a customized car. In the meantime, the hype had built around the modified Ferrari. Pictures of the Gas Monkey F40 began circulating on Instagram in 2014. Some artists even added flames to make the supercar look even more epic. All of this led to more eyes on the auctions, plural. The car was eventually auctioned off again. This time it went to a man named Richard Scott, the owner of a Santa Monica parking garage. Rawlings and some of his cohorts attended the auction in a literal bid to get the car back. But Scott got it for the price of $643,000. By no means cheap, but $99,000 less than what Jackson had paid for it. The car was then seized after Scott pled guilty to the U.S. government's Department of Veteran Affairs for $13 million. It was then towed away as an asset along with other high-end cars, including other Ferraris. For a little bit, it remained in a government warehouse. It could easily have been destroyed like Ferrari originally wanted. In 2019, Rawlings posted images of the original Ferrari F40, which had not been revealed to the public. He wanted that car back. He watched auctions for it like a hawk. He also reminisces about it a fair amount. The Gas Monkey F40 was soon sold at an auction again. We could not find the name of the current owner, but whoever it is, we're sure it's better off with them than staying in a warehouse. It sold for $760,000, the highest amount thus far. And if the owner ever wants to part with it, Rawlings will take it. Rawlings auctioning his most popular build looks like a mistake in hindsight. He's usually a savvy businessman, among other things. To this day, he's trying to reclaim the F40. In the meantime, he has done several Ferrari rebuilds, including a Ferrari 812 Superfast in February. Watch his channel to see the progress his team has made. To a lot of gearheads, Rawlings was a David who made Goliath bleed, and he's willing to do it again. Keep watching his social media for updates. But there's a lot of stuff here that applies to the world of art and mechanics as a whole. Does Ferrari have the right to destroy this modified car at the end of the day? What about the right to repair, an issue that can affect your right to have your car repaired by someone besides the dealer? Finally, how much would you be willing to pay for Rawlings Modified Ride? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. We'll see you next time.